Becky Quick joins us now. Becky, you knew Charlie better than anybody at this network, covered Berkshire Hathaway for so long. We all knew Charlie for his wit, his Mungerism, so to speak. But I think the interplay between Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger is really fascinating, the friendship, but also sort of the give and take, and how Charlie was the true foil to Warren Buffett in terms of bouncing investment ideas. I remember Warren Buffett called Charlie the abominable no man.
Yes.
that really captured it all.
Yeah, kind of saying no to Warren when nobody else could or would, saying this doesn't work and here's why. Look, they did figure out together a different thought of investing, a different way of building things. Warren Buffett had been an acolyte of kind of this idea before, Ben Graham's ideas, that you go around looking for cigar butts and you can get a few more smokes out of the last few drags on that cigar butt, buying good businesses, decent businesses at really cheap prices. Charlie Munger is the one who kind of changed Warren Buffett's thinkings on these things, where he said we should be buying great businesses at decent prices. You don't have to go so low and just get a great bargain price for it if you have a great business that will eventually take care of itself. Buffett has been very outspoken about how Charlie shaped him in all of those things. Today, Warren Buffett putting out a statement saying Berkshire Hathaway could not have been built to its present status without Charlie's inspiration, wisdom, and participation. And just a couple of weeks ago, when I sat down with Charlie, he did talk a little bit about how things started at Berkshire Hathaway. Here's what he had to say.
Whoever, but I did not really think that we'd ever have one. It would, so many hundreds of billions in Berkshire. I did not anticipate when Warren and I were starting with our little piddly start that we'd ever get to 100 billion, much less several hundred billion. It was an amazing occurrence.
What happened that you didn't anticipate? What led to that success?
Well, we got a little less crazy than most people, and a little less stupid than most people, and that really helped us. Then, in addition, we were given as much longer time to run than most people because something kept us alive into our 90s, and it gave us a long track from our little fiddling start all the way to the 90s. Those are the two things that really happened. And, of course, we wised up over time. We got into better and better companies, and we understood more and more of the bad things that could happen to you and how easy they could creep in. And we avoided them even more assiduously when we were old than we did when we were young. And it all worked.
I think back in 2015, for the 50th anniversary of Berkshire, you wrote in the shareholders letter that, among many other things, you had a $60 billion pile of cash at that point. You thought that that pile of cash would decline over time because you'd be able to buy more and more things. Now you've got almost $160 billion in cash. Is there an opportunity for a really big purchase with that? And do you think you'll see one?
Well, of course, there's an opportunity for a purchase a lot bigger that people can make who don't have us 160. We have $160 billion in cash, plus a great credit rating we deserve. And who in the hell has that? Not very many. Yes, but what it's going to be, I can't tell you. It can't be anything too small, because it doesn't matter how good it is. We're of a size now where too small just doesn't move the needle very much. So we need something big to come along and use up all our cash and some borrowing. But who's more likely to find something than a guy who has $160 billion in cash, plus a long history of buying bargains? I don't think it's hopeless. It may have to be done by some different people. You know that the next time we may not be able just to squeeze a little more lemon juice out of the old lemons. We may be able to, we may have to squeeze some new lemons, meaning new people may have to make the decisions. But who can make them better than somebody that has watched the early process all through all those years and seen how well it works, and who starts with a little legacy of $160 billion of cash?
So you're talking about Greg Abel, Ajit Jain.
Yes,
Ted and Todd.
Or somebody not yet identified.
Yeah. Melissa, that was just 2 weeks ago today, and Charlie Munger at 99 months, or 99 years and 11 months, really still had great command of everything that he saw, very quick mentally, very capable of sitting and kind of reflecting on all of these things. But he's a huge reason why Berkshire Hathaway is the company that it is today, and he will be sorely missed.
Are there investments that Berkshire Hathaway has held or has currently that has Charlie Munger's fingerprints all over it?
Sure. I mean, probably BYD is the biggest example of that. They got in very early, and that was something that Charlie Munger was very excited about because of the guy who was running the company. There were a couple of trips to China, one with Warren and Charlie both, traveling to China to see their investment there, and I think they were both kind of blown away by what they saw. But Costco at different times, but BYD is probably the biggest example of that.
Becky Quick looks back at Munger's long life and his under-recognized role in helping Warren Buffett become one of the richest people on earth.
Charlie Munger was best known as Warren Buffett's right-hand man. Their investing partnership dating back decades.
I would say that every time I'm with Charlie, I'll get at least some new slant on an idea that causes me to rethink certain things. And we've had we've had so much fun in the partnership over the years.
It's been almost hilarious. It's been so much fun.
Buffett credits the Berkshire Hathaway vice chairman with teaching him the importance of paying up for high-quality businesses.
When he weaned me away from the idea of buying very so-so companies at very cheap prices, knowing that there was some small profit in it, and looking for really wonderful businesses that we could buy at fair prices.
It's not that much fun to buy a business where you really hope this sucker liquidates before it goes broke.
The willingness to pay for quality paid off for Munger and Buffett in deals like their 1972 purchase of See's Candies and their decision in the late 1980s to buy a substantial stake in Coca-Cola. Before his Berkshire days, Munger owned his own successful investment firm and practiced law. In 1962, he and a group of attorneys founded Munger Tolles, now known as Munger Tolles and Olson, a very prominent law firm. Munger, like Buffett, grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, and as teenagers, they both worked at Buffett's grandfather's grocery store, but not at the same time, as Munger was 7 years older. It wasn't until Buffett was in his late 20s and Munger was in his mid-30s and living in California that they were introduced to each other by mutual friends.
We had dinner together in 1959. In 5 minutes, Charlie was rolling on the floor laughing at his own jokes, and I do the same thing.
They began to spend hours each week on the telephone, talking investments, and Buffett urged Munger to trade in a career in law for one in investing.
I met Charlie, and he was practicing law, and I told him that was okay as a hobby, but it was a lousy business. So
Fortunately, I listened.
From 1962 until 1975, Munger's investment partnership produced a 19.8% compound annual return versus just 5% for the Dow. It wasn't until 1978 that Munger formally joined Berkshire as vice chairman. But Munger's even-tempered, risk-averse, and pragmatic approach to investing was a major influence on Buffett from the time they first met, helping Berkshire Hathaway grow into a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate that owns well-known businesses like Dairy Queen, Geico, Helzberg Diamonds, and Burlington Northern. Munger, however, didn't limit himself to just Berkshire. He was chairman of Wesco Financial from 1984 until 2011, when it was totally assimilated into Berkshire. During those years, he was known for his deadpan humor and straight-shooting style at shareholder meetings where he interacted at length with his investors. After Wesco, Munger moved the show and his growing collection of fans to another company where he remained chairman, the Daily Journal.
Charlie?
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines from you is you want to hire the guy with the IQ of 130 that thinks it's 120, and the guy with an IQ of 150 who thinks it's 170 will just kill you.
You must be thinking about Elon Musk.
He brought his blistering one-liners to Berkshire Hathaway's annual meetings, too.
What I needed to get ahead was to compete against idiots. And luckily, there's a large supply. And professional traders that go into trading cryptocurrencies, it's just disgusting. It's like somebody else is trading turds and you decide I can't be left out.
Charlie's big on lowering expectations.
Absolutely. That's the way I got married. My wife lowered her expectations.
And despite a net worth of around $2 billion, for Munger, money wasn't everything.
All you succeed in doing in your life is to get early rich from passive holding of little bits of paper. And you get better and better at only that for all your life. It's a failed life. Life is more than being shrewd at passive wealth accumulation. Well, with that, we're through.